Welcome to IAYTD, and before we start, I have a really important question. Did you know that we have a Facebook page that you can go like? I also just started a brand new Instagram specifically for IAYTD. So go over there, give us a follow. I do snapshot movie reviews, so in case you don't want to read a huge article, you can just read it in like 3 seconds and get everything you need to know. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. It'd mean the world to me. Now let's dive into this week's What Is. This week, our What Is video is more like an evolution of video. Facebook has changed more times than I can count, but it's because of this constant change that it's been able to dominate the social network landscape and become the behemoth that it is today. So in this video, we're going to start at the beginning and travel through time, discussing the milestones that Facebook has experienced and what those milestones have contributed to the current Facebook. Thanks to the wonderful timeline, I was able to go back and find my exact date of joining Facebook, May 1st, 2005. That's about a year after Facebook was exclusive to only Ivy League schools. Here's a look at what the original profile looked like. We've come a long ways. Look at how stagnant that page looks. Now, I remember defending Facebook for being so uniform back in the day compared to the extremely hectic MySpace. They allowed you too much freedom, and it was inundated with glitter, music clips, animated GIFs, and more. Facebook was consistent, and to this day I'd agree that it still is. Yes, there's more color and there's a little more freedom, but you can still navigate each person's page without too much complication. In the early days of Facebook, the key was that it was exclusive. You couldn't have your university attached to your name unless you had a .edu email address or whatever. The general public couldn't create accounts. In September of 2005, Facebook opened up to high schools, creating an exponentially larger network of potential members. A year later in 2006, Facebook disregarded all need for a certain email type, and it opened up to all members who were over the age of 13. I believe this caveat is still in effect, though many younger kids will likely lie in order to create a profile. A Consumer Reports survey reports that there are approximately 7.5 million children under 13, and 5 million under 10 years old have accounts, violating the terms of service. There are 5 million 9-year-olds or younger on Facebook? It seems crazier than I expected. As you can see, Facebook is no longer about exclusivity, but now there is a sense of assumption. You assume that everyone has a Facebook, regardless of age, education. Now let's move on to the next milestone. In September of 2006, both notes and statuses were becoming popular. At this point, statuses still included is ... in front of your status. So it'd be your name is whatever. Right after statuses were unveiled, I went a little crazy with them. That is way too many. I think Twitter got its idea from this type of status use. And as a note, even though I wrote Watching House for the first time, I somehow never ended up watching it until only recently. It is an incredible show, though. You should watch it.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Statuses have pretty much destroyed the need for away messages that used to be common on chat services. That was primarily the location for your favorite quotes, letting people know where you were, what you were doing, and being emotional when you wanted attention. Statuses have now claimed that right. And in terms of notes, they may not be that popular now as opposed to some of the earlier versions of Facebook, but notes have pretty much destroyed sites like Xanga and LiveJournal. You have a built-in base of readers on Facebook. Even now, with sites like WordPress, many bloggers choose to have their blogs sent to their Facebook pages, sometimes as links and other times as imported notes. Time to talk about the Newsfeed. This was the biggest controversy in the world at the time. Before the notorious Newsfeed, you had to view someone's page to see what they were up to. In retrospect, that must have been a pain. Now everything is sent conveniently to your main page, known as the Newsfeed. In my compelling note titled Facebook Rules, I offer my initial response to the Newsfeed. I liked it. Great work there, Adam. Here, this is what one of the original versions of the feed looked like. Much less vibrant than the current rendition. It's actually pretty straightforward, and this is a little later than the original launch, since it included the notification flag and the online chat feature. Now let's talk about that chat feature since we're on it. In 2008, Facebook launched their version of a chat system, which has since obliterated services like AOL Instant Messenger, ICQ, Yahoo Messenger, and MSN Messenger, of which I used all of the above. When chat debuted, people questioned why. But now in retrospect, this is the primary means of talking to people as opposed to these outside services. It took Facebook 2 years to debut the new messaging system, which was an internal email basically. And even later, they integrated the two so that chat messages could be sent offline and still sent to their messaging folder. This is now the easiest way to contact and talk to both your friends and people not on your friends list. Now I need to take a step back because we got sidetracked with chat. In 2007, what's called the Facebook platform was unveiled, which allowed developers to create tools to use within Facebook. This exploded with a surge of applications including games. Some applications like horoscopes, movie reviews, etc. were pretty self-explanatory, but no one expected what would happen with Facebook games. People joke about the success of things like Farmville, but that was a worldwide phenomenon. This application feature drew in an unprecedented amount of traffic and gave Facebook a whole new use. People like my mom were now joining Facebook exclusively to play games. I think it's safe to say that the inclusion of applications in general, gaming or otherwise, has definitely changed the entire landscape of Facebook. In 2009, the like feature was created. This little thumbs up meant that you could like anything, a status, a picture, a link. This feature created an easy way for people to engage with each other without needing any sort of significant contribution. I read the status and I enjoyed it, so I shall like it. There's no comment needed, no deep insight, just the click of a button. I'm having a hard time finding a date for when it arrived, but following the like button came a share button. And this changed the landscape and the way that we pass along information or things that we like. The share button now appears all over the internet and makes it easy to repost things that you find interesting. Prior to this, you'd have to post the link of the item and it was difficult to share things that already lived on Facebook. The next phase is what we now call the timeline. The idea of a wall has been replaced. All activity shows up on your timeline and you have the ability to either remove content or just remove it from your timeline, or even to add highlights. The timeline also allows you to travel back in time and see posts easily from all different phases of your Facebook existence. That's what made it possible for my awesomely embarrassing screen captures of old statuses. People are continuously complaining about the timeline, but they did the same thing when the Newsfeed was introduced, and now that is clearly the best part of Facebook. Can you imagine not having the feed of your friend's activity? I can't even fathom it anymore. But people always complain. They complain about chat, about notes, about everything. But Facebook has continued to evolve. It's because Facebook evolved that it's managed to surpass sites like MySpace and LiveJournal. It's eliminated programs like AIM and MSN Messenger. Direct traffic that would have gone to gaming sites like Addicting Games and Board.com. People now go to Facebook for those things. They've put thought into each edition, and I'm excited for what comes next. Will video chat get rid of Skype? Facebook is also quick to tap into emerging trends, like their purchase of Instagram for $1 billion in 2012. In 2014, they bought something called Oculus, which is one of the most anticipated outlets for virtual reality, and it's supposedly releasing in 2016 in some sort of capacity. Facebook is now in a place where it's being used for so much more than just your personal page. You can like business pages or the pages of things that you like. Can I suggest liking IAYTD on Facebook while we're on the subject? You can even join groups of like-minded individuals and communicate directly with brands and celebrities that you like. Now, before Mark Zuckerberg was a public figure, we learned about him through the movie The Social Network. Zuckerberg doesn't really like this movie much, saying, "They went out of their way in the movie to try to get some interesting details correct, like the design of the office, but on the overarching plot, they just kind of made up a bunch of stuff that I found kind of hurtful." So take that for what it's worth. Let's look at the big picture of Facebook. In 2015, there was an average of 1.49 billion monthly users, which is a 13% increase over 2014. It's continuing to grow, which is surprising considering Facebook has been around for over 10 years. There's no signs of slowing down. Sites like MySpace died out because they didn't evolve. Facebook has continually changed it up and adapted to what users want. People complain, always, but in the end, Facebook has made very few missteps and continues to evolve. With the potential that virtual reality might hold, their purchase of Oculus might be the next big revolutionary step. So what do you think? Do you still actively use Facebook, and what for? Do you think it's showing any signs of slowing down? But most importantly, if you liked our page. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.